It's that time of the month again. Dead Rock has returned. Chapter 14 was honestly something that, once again, continues to make me hyped up and sets things in the direction that I wasn't fully expecting, at least not in the way it was presented. And seems like for this arc, we're getting focus on a character that definitely needed some focus. And since we're finally going to dive into what's going on with them and their story for the future of Dead Rock. Not to mention, we're in a pseudo-tournament style survival game arc right now that has just started, which I'm very excited to see because it seems we're getting set up with some new characters, some new fights, and with the potential for Yakuto to actually have a one-on-one with God himself. But before we jump right into this chapter, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Now with that out of the way, let's jump right into this chapter. Chapter 14 of Dead Rock, titled Dead or Alive, and the cover image is Frere in a swimsuit as she is quite literally steaming. You know, I'm not gonna lie, this is the first full-on instance of fan service we've gotten in Dead Rock since like, what, Chapter 1, Chapter 2 maybe? Like, actual fan service. And honestly, not bad. Now let's move on to the chapter before everyone in the comment section starts simping over Frere. We get an amazingly detailed aerial shot of Dead Rock Academy as we zoom down as God is giving a statement to the student body, stating, "Students, those who have survived another month, congratulations," as people clap with Yakuto staring up at God. As we get a flashback to what happened after the events of the previous chapter, where they talk to Magumagi about the seal in the book. As she states that this is going to take some time, as they're saying, "Can't you get this done quickly?" Magi says that it's sealed with the power of God himself. Ordinarily, she wouldn't even be allowed to touch an item like this. Yakuto states that God's weakness should be written in that book, but Magi says that she isn't really wanting to make an enemy of God anyway. But Yakuto says, "We just needed to remove the seal in the book." And Zelecia states that God massacred Yakuto's whole people, including his family. And she even states, which is very interesting, that she's been through something like that too. So we're definitely going to dive into Zelecia's backstory at some later point, with quite literally a very important line dropped right here, as she says that she's went through something similar to Yakuto. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go forth in the future, and how we'll get a solo arc or an exploration of Zelecia and her past that will tie into why she wants to take out God herself. Magi is in shock of what she heard, and we cut back to the present day, as Magi's words transition into the present as she says, "Well, you did manage to take down the numbskull who trashed my house. I'll do what I can." As God continues his speech, stating, "Those who graduate from this school will become demon rulers in the human world. You'll get everything." And he states, "Devote yourselves to your studies and become great rulers." With Yakuto still looking intently at God, with, I believe, God noticing Yakuto in the crowd, as he most likely knows that Yakuto was the one to take out Bren. As he states, "That reminds me, the vice principal passed away recently. Students from our school killed him," as God states with a smile, as this gets the entire student body murmuring, with us getting quick cuts of all of Class F, as they're not too fazed by it, as they kind of somewhat expect this, except for Zelecia, who is shaking. But God smirks, as in a maniacal 2-page spread, he states, "Fantastic work, just what I want to see from Dead Rock students." As he did encourage the whole rule of kill anybody you don't like, and the fact that there is someone in the school that could kill Bren does make him excited. Perhaps he wants to find somebody to replace him now, or perhaps this will end up being something for a wider plan, or maybe he's just doing this to goad Yakuto, get his ego up now that he took out one of the 4 demon teachers, to lull him into a false sense of security, to actually take him out in the most brutal way and sadistic way possible. At least that's my opinion, and what I think might end up happening. God continues to say, "Students, run, dance, fight, kill, bathe yourselves in blood. Tomorrow we'll hold our school field day, dead or alive." With the student body wondering what's going on, even the homeroom teacher of Class F wondering what's going on as well, with the rest of the demon teachers actually getting excited over this. And that's going to take out a bunch of students, as we get a brief panel of Laozen, another of the 4 demon teachers, stating, "I've been waiting for this, Mr. Principal. Battle, 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 battle." As we get a really awesome, brief panel of Frere in intense anger. Because remember, she still has not gotten her revenge for what this jackass did to her older sister. So, with what's coming up next, Frere might get the opportunity to finally take on some sweet, sweet revenge. Class F is wondering what this whole field day event is going to end up being like, especially with the name Dead or Alive, as Hani says it's stupid, as Mikoto agrees. But she says, "I wonder if a certain someone lit a fire under the principal," which most likely is definitely the case, and I think God is definitely going to take advantage of all this. As Yakuto says, "Once I know his weakness, even God will be beatable." As we cut after an image of God looking down at the crowd, we then cut back to the student dorm, Bone Rampage, as Class F are mulling together what they think the school field day is going to end up being, as they're wondering what type of stuff this will tend to be, especially with the name Dead or Alive, as they're speculating that it's most likely something to do with killing each other, and Yakuto even says, "Well, I guess killing each other is technically a form of exercise too, and with a messed up school like this, yeah, it makes sense." But Yakuto doubles down, stating that he'll survive no matter what happens, so he can take out God, as Ryzen says that he wants to be a Demon King, with Frere asking why. Ryzen says that he wants to do it to get rid of the curse on his sword, with Hani bringing up the fact that he mentioned that he keeps calling the sword Princess, and if it's related to this curse. And as we all remember back in Chapter 2 of Dead Rock, we essentially got a brief flashback of Ryzen, and he was a knight in church protecting some princess, and she was getting seemingly stabbed by this sword, and so we would come to realize, most likely through the context clues, that she was sealed within this very same sword that he has. So becoming a Demon King, essentially a Demon Ruler, will essentially give him the power seemingly to break this curse on the princess that he holds so dear. Frere then goes up and asks Mikoto why she wanted to enter Dead Rock. Mikoto pauses for a second and says, "To die." As this shocks everyone in the class, as Yakuto says, "Well, that's disturbing." As Ryzen says, "Hey, look, if you die, I'm literally gonna be a pile of bones on the ground." Mikoto tries to laugh it off as a joke, as everyone's being like, "Yeah, I kinda figured," with Zelecia stating, "That joke was so messed up, are you stupid?" As Yakuto stares at Mikoto as she has a somber looking smile on her face. Definitely implying that there is some truth to what she just stated. But we then cut to the next day, as the Dead Rock Field Day event, Dead or Alive, is now about to commence with all the students cheering. As the announcer goes on to state that the class that wins will receive a very special privilege, an audience with God himself. As this gets Yakuto's attention, obviously, a chance to get close to God, with God smirking. As Yakuto says in his mind, within punching distance. Yeah, Yakuto's being played by a fiddle by God right now. He definitely knows who killed Bren, and he definitely knows that taking him on is definitely something that Yakuto, or at least the person that killed Bren, wants to do. So, providing an environment and a tantalizing prize to take on God, at least in a face-to-face conversation, is definitely something that would get anybody's attention. So this is definitely something that is going to play a massive role, and a pretty good prize, and pretty good bait to lure in Yakuto. We then get some other Dead Rock students talking about the person that took out Cougar, who is Yakuto, as we see two new students. Eiji, whose root is a werewolf from Class 1A, and Dest, whose root is a gargoyle, also from Class 1A, as they state that Yakuto stole his prey, stating that this guy probably wanted to take out Cougar himself. Obviously, they don't really fully know that the person that killed Cougar was Bren, but they also don't know that Cougar technically kind of let Yakuto beat him in a sense to show respect towards his resolve. But yeah, we got two brand new students right now, and it seems like they might be important going forward in this arc, if not the story. Or Mashima is just essentially introducing some cool new characters that he wants to throw out in this arc and see what happens next. Yakuto then glances over at Eiji as he glances back. Yakuto then stating, "Oh, Zelecia, looks like he's looking at you." As Zelecia just stating, "No, not me, are you stupid?" And yes, with the amount of times that Zelecia has stated, "Are you stupid?" in this chapter, Hani says, "Do you like this catchphrase now?" Ryzen then starts up another conversation, saying that seeing everybody together like this, and then Mikoto essentially finishes this off by stating that a lot of them look strong, as Hani's been checking them out too, as we get some brief panels of some more characters outside of the two that we just got introduced to. He goes over the two that we just got introduced to just now, as the guys who glared over are Eiji and Des from Class A. We get another girl with a forehead eye on her hair called Setsuna from Class B. We got another guy called Lloyd from Class C, some guy with a really, really long head, neck thing, Vergio, who is a second year, someone named Eris, who is a third year, known as the head of the delinquents, so with a title like that, might play a role in this chapter. Now, in this arc, maybe these 6 characters might become prominent figures, or they'll just be used as stepping stones to build others up. We have no clue. We just gotta wait and see on this one. Yakuto states whoever we go up against, we won't lose. Class F will win this. The announcer says the rules are simple. Just kill each other until time's up. For each person you knock out or you kill, your class will receive 1 point. Taking down a teacher will net you down 10 points. As this is the big thing that this arc's introducing, that the teachers of Dead Rock are going to be participating in this field day challenge. But God states, look, I'm not going to be participating, so don't you worry. Obviously, that'd be overkill if God himself entered in this little death game tournament thing. But yeah, in this instance, the rules are kill or knock out anybody of the other students, you get 1 point for your class. Take out a teacher, you get 10. So I think we can all see where this is probably going to end up going. And with that, the field day begins as the battlefield opens up beneath them, as all the students fall down another hole. But outside of the anthill from Chapter 1 from their entrance exam for entering Class F, a huge wind blows all the classmates apart as they begin to fall continuously down the hole. But as we see this hole leading down with a pillar of light, we see a hooded figure stare down at the hole and walk back, as it's revealed that it is Bebel once more, who is the character that also technically survived the opening exam, but never left the ant hill, never left the underground caverns of Dead Rock. And it seems that they're scribbling some formulas on the cavern walls. Perhaps for some grand plan, some grand spell, we have no clue. The mystery around Bebel is definitely going to keep rising up, and perhaps this arc is going to lead us into his formal introduction into the story and what they're all about. But we cut away from Bebel as we come back with Yakuto in this glorious 2-page spread in this forest-like area with a bunch of statues with growths over them, seemingly with a bit of damage. As Yakuto's surprised at where he is, saying that he can't be below Dead Rock. But then he comes to the realization that there was a level gate right underneath the antlion pit. And so this is how he ended up in this weird place. So we must have ended up in some random area in the demon world thanks to this level gate to set up for this whole big survival game tournament. Yakuto says, anyway, I need to hurry up and link up with everyone. We're at too much of a disadvantage with our small class size. Which is true, they are strong, but compared to everybody else in Dead Rock, they are a very small class. So if they're surrounded by too many people with varying degrees of strength, they will be overwhelmed. So this is a smart plan to try and find everyone and stick together. Whether or not they're in the exact same area or all of them were scattered across the demon world, we have no clue, but I honestly think that they're all just in the exact same layer of the demon realm that they've been transported to thanks to that level gate. But Yakuto picks up on something as some random student tries to get a jump on him. Yakuto gets out of the way and dragonifies his right arm, using his attack Dragon Flame to punch out this classmate of his into one of the statues, knocking him down. As we get a brief panel of Yakuto's arms swirling with energy, as he says, with the power of the white and black dragon, again, just call it the monochrome dragon, this is a freaking mouthful. I have no idea if this is a translation thing, but just call it the monochrome dragon. It sounds cooler and less of a mouthful. Anyway, he says, I can fight like I did before, showcasing that after absorbing that dragon with his curse, Yakuto's at the strength that he seemingly was right at the start of the series. But he definitely still has to get back his full-on black dragon powers from Lilith at some point. He doesn't state this, but this is definitely going to be something that's going to occur later down the road. Yakuto hears a boop and looks at his wrist, as now he has a watch on, and seemingly everybody has one as well, as his points just went up a number. And went up again. Class F has 2 points. As we then cut to MIKOTO, as she knocked out her own little fodder opponent. As she says, I see, so we're getting points. But someone starts erupting from the water, calling her powers pretty cool. As we then get a 2-page spread showcasing one of the 4 demon teachers with the root of the Kraken, Boltagar, as he appears from the water stating, now, come on into my sea, the sea of sadness. And this panel of Boltagar is just so goddamn cool. And MIKOTO is in utter shock at being in the presence of one of the 4 demon teachers. As Boltagar says, rotten luck for you running into a teacher. As most of us would have honestly assumed, was right off the bat, she's taking on one of the strongest characters in the verse. But MIKOTO smiles, stating, what a stroke of good fortune. The reason I came to Dead Rock was to watch you die, Boltagar, with the final page of the chapter showcasing MIKOTO in a form of manic glee and rage. And I just love Mashima's way of how he does these like very strong and thick brushstrokes whenever he has these characters be in intense moments. And MIKOTO just got hers, and my god, does this look so awesome. This is going to be the thumbnail, I assume. But man, this looks so cool, and this is a great way to end the chapter. And builds us to some more stuff, as MIKOTO seemingly entered Dead Rock from her previous instance in the chapter to die. But more specifically, she seemingly has a grudge to Boltagar, as she wants to watch him die. Now, I'm curious to see what her reasoning is for this. Did he kill somebody that she loved? Did he destroy her home? What did Boltagar do to MIKOTO specifically, to the point that she wants to see him die? Or is there something else at play for MIKOTO being in the States and wanting to take out one of the 4 demon teachers, and him being one of her main goals for even coming to Dead Rock in the first place? MIKOTO backstory definitely coming in soon, and we get to see her fight solo against one of the strongest characters in the verse. I am nothing but excited, because everybody has had some form of fighting techniques, but MIKOTO has just relied on her zombies. I like the fact that she uses necromancy, but I'm curious to see what we're going to see from her with this necromancy power, and how this is going to help her fight one of the 4 demon teachers that are left. And I can't wait to see what Boltagar has to do with his water-based abilities. I am so hyped to see what's going to happen next. And while it does seem like the series is going a bit fast, since we're literally about to fight our 2nd demon teacher, depending on how things go, she'll either win or she'll lose. We have yet to see. But since we're in a death game style tournament arc right now, where the teachers, including the main force, before God shows up, with the literal prize being to meet up with God, it seems like this series I might either ramp up towards its conclusion with this arc, or this will be set up for a potential part 2 or time skip for all we know. I'm just throwing it out there because we still got the God Saves that was introduced chapters ago during Yakuto's backstory. Those characters can come in and be the actual main force that they have to take out before facing God. I doubt Yakuto is going to have the strength to take out God at the end of this arc 100%. But still, things are heating up. Another great chapter of Dead Rock, and I cannot wait to see what happens next with this arc that's just started, and with MIKOTO. I cannot wait. But what do you guys feel about this chapter? How do you like it? Do you have any concerns? And leave your thoughts, opinions, and theories about MIKOTO and this chapter in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Man, Dead Rock just keeps getting better and better with each chapter, and I cannot contain my excitement for a full month, I swear.